Get ready. Start. You have invited me here on an auspicious day for this opening ceremony. I have come here gladly for a variety of reasons. Perhaps some people might wonder what is the connection between Gandhiji and this great factory, for he was apparently not fond of great factories. He thought much more of the village and the home, and yet I feel that this idea is due to a basic misapprehension. I am quite sure that if it had been our good fortune to have Gandhiji with us today, he would have been glad at the opening of this factory. This factory, like all factories, does not come in the way of his basic desire to develop the village industries and generally raise the standard of our vast rural and urban population. Some people take rather a narrow view of Gandhiji. None of us, perhaps, is fully capable of understanding all the aspects of his character. We cling to one or two aspects, not realizing that we do not see the whole of that remarkable personality. Many, I suppose, took the letter of what he said and paid little attention to the spirit, to the underlying philosophy for which he stood. You will remember that often he let us have some glimpses into his mind which would show that that mind was deep and wide and looked not only at the millions of our people but at the whole of humanity. Functioning at a particular moment in India as the leader of a great struggle against a mighty empire, he brought methods and tools into play which were particularly suited for that struggle as well as for the constructive activity of the nation. He said stress on village industries and even those who were critical of him and who were doubtful about village industries and the like today stand for village industries and the development of rural areas. Others have arrived only gradually at the conclusion he arrived at voluntarily. There is no conflict between that conclusion and this factory or other big factories that we might build because we try to coordinate the two approaches. There can be no real well being or advance in material standards in India without the big factory. I shall venture to say that we cannot even maintain our freedom and independence as a nation without the big factory and all that it represents. Nor, in my opinion, can there be well being and large scale employment in India, at least for a very considerable period to come, without widespread groups of village industries. We cannot keep pace with the modern world unless we adopt the latest techniques, whether it is for the big factory or the small or for village industry. We cannot keep pace with the modern world unless we utilize the sources of power that are available to the modern world. Today, we stand on the threshold of the atomic age. Enormous new resources of power have been placed at the disposal of man. Whether he uses them for good or ill, only the future will show. What we do know is that the power is there and we cannot ignore it. We shall have to use this new source of atomic energy when the time comes. At the same time, everything has ultimately to be judged in terms of human welfare, and the only real yardstick we can employ is the happiness of our 360 million people. Therefore, I see nothing wrong in my coming here on Gandhiji's birthday and performing the opening ceremony of this great factory. I go about from end to end in India, seeing new factories come up, great schemes take shape, and great river valley projects develop, giving power and nourishing water to our fields. I see the communist projects and national extension service spread in our rural areas with a speed which is remarkable and without precedent in history. Remember this, that perhaps the biggest scheme in India is not this big factory or 100 other factories, but the hundreds and thousands of community projects that are changing the face of India. That is the great revolution that is taking place in the village and in the heart of India. All the factories that are coming up in India are interesting in themselves, but to me they are rather symbols of something bigger that is taking place. You are making these integral coaches by processes of welding. Some of us, in our own way, are also engineers, human engineers. There are so many odd pieces in this country which require welding together. There are so many odd things within ourselves, each individual or group, which require integration. Often I feel that we as a nation suffer from a kind of split personality. No one in the wide world talks of higher ideals than we do, but our practice does not hold at all with our talk. Dear friend, some time back you asked me to let you know the procedure adopted in selecting candidates. In reply, I am to say that a company, first of all, will arrive at a clear understanding of the nature of the post to be filled, then the personal department are ready to start on the next stage of their task, the discovery of a suitable person. First of all, they examine the possibility of filling the post from within the organization by going through their personal records to see if someone could be transferred or promoted to the vacant post. If so, all the various factors such a transfer would involve are considered. If not, the next step is to seek out outsider, and how this is done will usually depend on the nature of the vacancy. If the post calls for exceptional qualifications or skills, the personnel department might get in touch with a specialized staff agency. On the other hand, if a beginner is required, someone who has been successful in a training but who has not yet had any experience, a request might be made to principals of one of well known colleges. In other cases, the vacancy will be advertised in the local press. Application forms are then sent to those who are considered fit, apart from asking for such information as name and address, date of birth, and details of education, which requires a complete record of the applicant's experience since leaving school or college, along with the address of the employer's salary earned and reasons for leaving. Applicants are told to return the form by a certain date. The returned forms are carefully examined. The information about their educational achievements and experience will eliminate a number, and finally a short list is drawn up. After checking up the information given by these applicants, invitations are sent only to the selected applicants to attend an interview arranged by the company. It is the interview that will decide who should be given the job. It should be a matter of great importance to consider what an interview involves. Hope this will meet your requirement. Yours sincerely. Stop.